Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Tenstreet webinar. My name is Christy Choice, and I am so glad to be here with each of you today. Now, we have something really exciting in store for each of you today. We are going to be talking about AI as if we haven't been talking about it enough, yet there are some things yet to still discuss with you. So we are excited about it. And my name is Christy. We're going to cover a couple of housekeeping rules, and then we're going to jump right in. So today, again, from first contact to road ready, we're talking about Tenstreet's AI tools for driver hiring. Now, so many of you signed up for this webinar because I am sure that you are all looking for ways to enhance your workflow and trying to figure out how to leverage AI tools to get there. And so Taylor and I are going to really focus in on a few different tools today, and we are going to have a really, really good time. Now, a copy of this recording is going to be sent to you via email about 24 hours after we're done, okay? So it's all good. If you miss something, you'll be able to run it back and to pause and share it with someone in your organization. Whatever you need to do, you'll have the recording. Now, something else I love about the GoToWebinar platform, you have the ability to screenshot. So right where you see Taylor and my faces and the presentation for today, if there's something that you want to remember, if you click the little screenshot button, it's going to take a screenshot and it's going to put it on your own desktop. So, you know, technology. And then also, we want everyone to leave here today with having learned something. So if you have a Tenstreet question, if you want us to go into a little more detail about something, if something that we share with you piques your interest and you're like, hey, tell me a little bit more, we're happy to do it. Use the questions box in the GoToWebinar control panel. Let us know what questions you have, and you don't have to hold them to the end. Let us know as it comes to you, and we're going to make sure all of the questions get answered today. Taylor, did I miss anything?
No, I was going to say, definitely ask those questions when you have them and they pop up, they're fresh in your brain. Me and Christy like to be conversational. So, you know, be a part of the conversation with us. We're more than happy to talk about it. You know, we want to make sure you're included completely in. But no, other than that, Christy, I think we've got a slide because you mentioned you are Christy Choice. Here is a great headshot of Christy Choice here with professional services. And I am Taylor McElroy with my 6-year-old headshot now that I definitely need to get updated. So we're very excited to have you guys. We've both been working in these tools a little bit over the last year, and we've made enhancements of a lot of these over the years. So we're excited to kind of show you what's coming and what is here. And then kind of sneak peek a little bit with what is coming in the near future.
Oh my gosh, yes, I am so excited that we're here to share with you some of these AI tools. And again, we want to know how you're using AI in your organizations. And if you have questions as we move forward, please let us know. All right, Taylor, let's kick this thing off. Okay, so we like to try to begin with the end in mind. When you're done today, I want you to walk away having learned something, and it kind of really starts with us kind of setting the stage and the foundation for why we're doing this. AI is everywhere, and it is in every industry. It is in the tools that we use in our personal lives. It's a little bit of everywhere, really. And I know that we keep talking about AI, but for your recruiting processes, it's very important that you lean into all of the advancements and updates that Tenstreet has made, because we're making these advancements to make your job easier, and so that you have the benefit of refining your processes, because each of your companies are very unique. And so today, as we move forward with walking through the workflow, we're going to show you some of the popular use cases, but there are times that Taylor and I are in a meeting and we're like, whoa, okay, that's different. We haven't heard of that before. Here's how you can use this tool. If we partner together and have a conversation about these AI tools and the benefit that they bring your organizations, it's going to empower you to have better conversations internally, to have a smoother implementation when you're rolling the tools out, and to clearly define what's important to you. What else would you say about the why we're doing this, why we're talking about AI?
I think it's AI's become such a buzzword. It's what everybody's really focused on right now, and I think being able to explain kind of how it can be used and the stories that you might hear from outside sources of how it's being used and how Tenstreet determines to use it, how much it can make kind of your life simpler but still keeping that human focus in mind. I think it's important to kind of understand that distinction and how we try to really frame these tools and how we've worked AI into our product.
Absolutely. Now, we support the responsible use of AI in our tools. Tenstreet is very compliance focused, very compliance minded. And so the ways that we create this is always looking to protect the carriers that we work with. And so again, if you have questions or concerns, let us know. But I will venture to say that we've probably thought about it and saw around the corner for some of these questions you might have. So feel free to ask them. We're happy to get you some answers. Do not hold back today. All right, Taylor, what do you think? You ready to jump on in?
I think so. And we've got 4 main things that we're really going to kind of focus on today. These are products that are currently within the Tenstreet platform that you can get access to. I think 2 of these are in every dashboard right now with a way, maybe a third possibly for you to be able to train before it's actually, you can say, all right, cool, let's let this loose. But there's definitely 2 in here that you can kind of work with. And I think the best place to start is right at the beginning of the funnel, right, Christy?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And so walking through your AI workflow, we're going to start with PulseBot. Now, this is the gift that keeps on giving, the tool that keeps on innovating. And it is such a powerful way for you to lean into Tenstreet's Driver Pulse platform, right? It's very driver centric. It's very focused on helping you to leverage the communications that you have through Pulse. And so we're going to talk a little bit about PulseBot before rolling into the next part of the workflow, which centers around how your recruiters begin to connect with the drivers that apply. Right, so call me now is what we'll talk about after that. From there, we will talk about the interest score features. This is so exciting because there are ways to prioritize candidates in the dashboard. Not to say that each candidate doesn't deserve, having their application evaluated. Just to say that we know your time is super valuable, and so if we can direct you to prioritize your candidates, then you can maximize your recruiter's time, and then compliance is so key, and so tying it all together with DQF readiness and how you can take advantage of that to make sure that you have what you need so that you can have the start of a really great safety and compliance program. Okay, let's jump on in. Now, I do want to say that we are going to also do a live demo. And so I want you to stick around. I want you to ask your questions. We want you to be engaged, of course, but just know that we are going to talk about the tools, and then we're going to show you the tools as we get into the webinar a little bit further. Okay, so the value of PulseBot. So PulseBot essentially automates responses to truck driver questions using policies and AI trained insights. And so when we get into the dashboard, we're going to show you where PulseBot lives under the Pulse Plus tab in the upper left-hand corner. And so if you've never navigated over there, you're going to see a whole new page of wonderful things that you can, features that you can turn on and to start looking at. Now, what I want you to know about PulseBot is there are pre-hire benefits and there are post-hire benefits. And we've listed a few of them on the screen here. And so for some folks, you may have a very unique workflow and say, hey, I don't need this or that. You can pick and choose how you use PulseBot and how your drivers interact with it. Now, one of my favorite features that we're going to talk about today is pre-application messaging. I think that really expands some of the benefits of the Tenstreet system because it gives you the ability to have PulseBot answer questions for you and from folks who have not yet applied. Because sometimes, in the old workflow, they had to apply or do a lead app or do some type of communication to you, letting you know that they were interested in one of your positions, potentially. But if they can get their questions asked from the beginning, and you can automate a response to them, then you get to weed out who is really more of a fit for your specific role. So we're going to talk about PulseBot. There are so many clicks in a lot of names for these tools, and I'm trying to generalize it so that you can jump on in there and to start using the tools. But just know that there's a lot of pre-hire benefits and post-hire benefits that we're going to talk about when we get to PulseBot. Taylor, would you add anything to that? What do you think?
What I think is cool about all these tools that we're showing is it's kind of like that beginning to end flow, that pre-app messaging, that being able to have an answer even in off hours, I think is very important to drivers. Even if they know it's a bot that's responding back to them, they're getting an answer to their question. I just think that's very valuable just from like a recruiting standpoint and that pre-hire benefit. But being able to set that up to just have a general question answered at almost any time, almost like a support center that a driver can go to, I find it really, really cool.
Yeah, I do too. And what we find is that drivers actually prefer to know that they're actually speaking to a bot. That's why we named it PulseBot, because we're not trying to get over on a driver and make them think they're talking to Sarah, and Sarah does not exist at your office, right? We want to fully disclose that they are interacting with a bot so that they understand that there will be limitations, but there's notification settings. So again, really, really cool features that we're going to share. And the last thing I want to share, which is a pretty powerful part of the Pulse Plus platform, is that you have access to see all of the messages that are being sent and received via driver Pulse in Pulse Plus. So we're going to talk about PulseBot, but it lives under Pulse Plus, and so there's lots of benefits to really digging in there. And we like to encourage the crawl, walk, run methodology. Everybody is not going to just get up and start running with these tools, but we want you to crawl. We want you to look in there. We want you to get familiar. That's why you're on the webinar today. You're here to learn. And if you can take away one or two pieces of information and get them out to your team so that you can start using them, and even sometimes it's just wrapping your head around it. Like, how can we use it? But it starts the conversation and helps you to see what is possible. So we're going to show you Pulse Plus, and we're going to focus on PulseBot today. All right, Taylor, let's keep it going.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about Call Me Now here. So think of Call Me Now as a way to have phone calls taken and sent directly through Tenstreet to the driver. Now, it's not like it's going to call directly through like your computer system, so to say, but this is a way that you can set it up for either a recruiter to just hit a button within Tenstreet. We'll call that driver, get them on the phone, but then it'll call that recruiter's number, either whatever work number that we set within the system for that recruiter. Connect those two, start that conversation directly from. Now, what difference is that from like a regular phone system, right? I think the big thing is we're gonna record that, and it's gonna live within the Tenstreet communications view, and we're also gonna use AI to transcribe that. And we can take it a step further and start pulling out certain things and applying tags automatically based off that conversation. There's a lot of different automation pieces we can work into that transcription to start auto tagging, automatically sending out document requests, things of that nature. So there's a lot of cool stuff that we can kind of bake into it with the AI. Now, the first thing that you notice here on this slide, though, is we can set it up to reach drivers the moment they apply. So when a new app hits the system, we can set it to trigger Call Me Now to that recruiter, or if you've got a general recruiting line that we want to set that to, we absolutely can. We're thinking of it like strike while the iron's hot, right? The recruiter or the driver just finished filling out your app. Hey, he's been thinking about you, heavy on the mind. Let's go ahead and get in contact with them. You know, we've got a lot of statistics that show, hey, the quicker you reach out to drivers and you're on the ball with them, the quicker that they are, or more likely they are to hire on with you. Usually the quicker you are, the better it ends up being, especially if that driver's a good fit for you. Make them feel at home, get them right there, you know, make them know that that's the place he's supposed to be. Like I mentioned earlier, you can capture every call automatically. So if it goes through the Call Me Now system, this is something that will always live within Tenstreet. So you can always go back through. We have reporting capabilities to see what calls took place, and you can always go in and listen to that recording, view that transcription at any time. It's always going to be hanging out there for you. Also, yep, like I mentioned, with tags, sending forms, starting reports to be ran, any of that can be added in as a part of this too. So give it a try is the best way I like to see. Get the general flow of it, and then let's start adding on top of it, right? Let's build that out. Crawl, walk, run. Crawl with it a little bit. We start walking a little bit, and then we run. We start automating things all across the system with that bad boy. And yeah, anything there that maybe you think I'm missing there, Christy?
Well, you got it, but I just want to really kind of talk really quickly about the transcript, because I think that that's where a lot of value is. There are other platforms that do something similar, but we're super proud of Call Me Now and what we've built. In 39 days, folks are going to get to hear about some updates to Call Me Now, and also VoiceBot. Yeah, you heard it here, folks. A new tool that we're also going to be releasing. But it's super powerful when you can have a transcript. Why do you need a transcript of a conversation? For continuity, right? Making sure your team is all saying the same things. For compliance reasons, right? Making sure that you're not saying anything that you shouldn't be saying and using it as a coaching tool. Workflow management, quality control. There's so many reasons why a transcript can be very, very helpful. And so Call Me Now is multi-layered, but it is a tool that's going to help your workflow for sure. Now, Taylor, I think this is a good opportunity to say again, there are some questions that are coming in the chat. Thank you so much, everyone, for asking those questions. We're going to make sure they get answered right before we do the demo. Okay, so we're going to talk about interest score and the DQF readiness, take the questions, and then we're going to do the live demo. Okay. All right, so interest scores. Now, fit and interest scores, these are free to you. Okay, they cost $0 and are something that you can begin using today. Now, in your dashboard, if you have access to the tool, you may see a tool called Score Management. And that really is where this process starts, because we want to help you gauge interest and engagement with the folks who apply to work for you. And so we have two different levels of scoring, and one is an interest score and the other is a fit score. And we're using AI to help you to determine how are they interested, what's the level of engagement, and then do they fit. Based on what your criteria is for a specific position, you're able to see those scores. Now, we did away with the number system, okay? Now, just to make it a little easier. And so now they're color coded, red, yellow, green, so that you can, and then you can look at the percentage, but again, it's an easy indicator of whether someone is interested and someone is engaged, if they are fit for your open positions, and really just generally helpful. Now, it is there as a guideline for you, because we know that things shift and things change within your organization, but these tools help you to see who's truly engaged. Then you're able to act on a clear color-coded signal, no matter where you are, everywhere you work, and it is free and built in. I don't know if it gets any better than that. We do have what we call the legacy scoring, which some of you may have, but you know what? I think the interest score and the fit score is really where it's at. Taylor, what do you think?
Got to find my mute button. I definitely agree. I've had a lot of success with clients that have set up fit score, because they've always looked for a good way to highlight those drivers that have less than 2 accidents, have this amount of experience, and be able to really pull those to the top. Used to, they wanted to work out of custom homepage reports to be able to sort from certain ways, or they've used legacy scoring, but sometimes they got a little complicated with it and they didn't understand what the numbers were. So being able to see that right at the top, especially working through the work list and sorting it that way, we found a lot of success with them. And the interest score itself, them having higher interest score has led to them having more hires, essentially, for those drivers that we end up designating with that. So I've had good success with it working with clients.
That is so cool, right? Because I want to talk to who's talking to me, you know? And as far as from a recruiter perspective, you know, they're doing such great work trying to communicate have so many different conversations with folks who are applying, but there's nothing like when you hit that flow state and you're like talking to and it's a conversation, it's going back and forth, and that's what you want. You want to share information because that driver is evaluating you just like you're evaluating him or her. Right? It's a two-way street, and being able to gauge that level of interest is super important, and we cannot wait to show you. All right, let's talk about DQF readiness.
So DQF readiness, think of this as a way from a recruiting standpoint to be able to make sure that you've got all the files to make that handoff to your safety team be a lot more smooth be a great transition, and have a quick little review of the files. Make sure nothing gets kicked back, extends the process out for that driver. Just makes life a little bit easier on everybody. So essentially, once you've got all the documents that you'd be storing in DQF, you can send that to a AI review essentially, and it'll check those documents to see if there's anything missing, if everything's legible, in case the driver, got a pretty blurry picture of their license whenever they sent it over your way, and also making sure those expiration dates match up to what is entered in the system. We are going to also get some prompts when to recruiters saying, hey, yep, files are good to go. And like I mentioned, it's going to make that just a very smooth handoff. Nothing's better than when a safety team gets a whole thing of documents and they go, oh, nothing else needed here. Everything's good to go. Don't have to kick it back to recruiting. Don't have to add a couple extra days into the process for the driver. Just makes life a whole lot more smooth on everybody's standpoint. So I do find this to be super, super helpful. That, and like Christy said with fit and interest score, it's in every dashboard too. It's a little extra button that we've added in there you can always use and send off and get that thing moving.
Now, Taylor, the word smooth and the word DQF don't usually go hand in hand, but we've been working hard. We've been working hard trying to put this thing together, okay? And so we want you to know, yes, it is free, it's included. We want you to turn it on. We want you to get it configured because it is so helpful for you to smooth out the processes between your recruiting team and your safety teams. Usually that is where chaos ensues, right? Because everybody does it a little differently. But no matter what your process is, you can designate who should click that button so that you don't, enter a situation where you don't have what you need to be compliant, and so that your teams and that handoff is as smooth as it can be. Now, we do want to do a live demo, but I want to answer a couple of the questions that we have first. And so, Taylor, as you get ready to transition over here to the live demo, let me ask you a couple of questions. Okay,
Sure.
So is Call Me Now a service that's already available, or is it still in development?
It is available. It is a product that you're able to add on to your Tenstreet platform right now. It's not one of the ones like DQF readiness or interest or fit score that is just a part of the dashboard and the subscription. It is an additional feature, but it is live. It is available within the system. So if it's something you want to add, I'd recommend getting in contact with your advisor at Tenstreet. They'd be more than happy to kind of walk you through a demo. Or feel free if you want to as well. I'm more than happy to kind of talk through some of that too. Does not bother me whatsoever.
All right, what'd you say? That's what we're here for. Haha.
Exactly.
Okay, love it. Okay, here's the next question. Are there measures in place to ensure that the Call Me Now process adheres to TCPA guidelines and state laws pertaining to two-party consent? The answer is absolutely. Oh my gosh, we really we have an excellent general counsel, and our team really wants to make sure that we adhere to all regulations and guidelines regarding communication. I mean, for a really long time, you couldn't even bulk text from within Tenstreet because we wanted to make sure that drivers weren't being spammed with text messages. We think really thoughtfully and carefully about how we configure the tools so that they make sure to meet the guidelines and requirements, especially for TCPA, CPRA. I mean, there's a whole lot of acronyms, but it's different in some states and some places, so you're absolutely right about that. If the demo works successfully, which I believe it will, you'll be able to hear that the person is going to receive the call and they're going to be told, hey, would you like to be connected, right? We're not just calling them just carte blanche. They get to consent to receiving that phone call because if they say no, it's a no. So again, we want to make sure, yes, we're using the technology, we're using the AI, we're using your recruiter's time appropriately and effectively, but we got to make sure that they agree to that. So I think those are really, really great questions. And the other question is also regarding two-party consent. And so hopefully we'll be able to show you what that looks like right now. And we're going to just transition into the live demo, starting with PulseBot. Okay. Let's talk about PulseBot.
Sure. So I'm in the demo right now. We're going to pop up to the very top left of the dashboard here, and we're going to jump over to where it says Pulse Plus. If you haven't checked out Pulse Plus, if you're a primary user, this should be hanging around on your dashboard. If not, you need to let the account management team know, because we want you to have this button. But flipping over to this, you're going to have kind of 3 tabs at the top to kind of get things started. This is going to land you into Pulse Chat. And this is what Christy was talking about with any sort of Pulse messaging that comes through the system. This is where you're going to be able to find all of those, including drivers that may not have applied to you yet, or you may not have a lead in the system for yet. If they pre-app message you, this is where this is going to land for you. One thing I will mention though, we're not seeing too much right here just because, you know, we're kind of in a demo environment, so we're only seeing one message. But let's say we were wanting to see any just people that have messaged us that don't have an app in the system quite yet.
Well, let me say this, Taylor, because we got people on who are some diehard Tenstreet users, and one of my favorite things to do is to show them how to go into their dashboard, go to Pulse Plus. So if you're adventurous, follow along, log in, go to Pulse Plus, and then that receive date at the top right of the screen, just change that to the last 30 days, okay? And then let that thing refresh, and you're gonna start seeing all the Pulse messages from your team. And again, this is a space and a place where there's no judgment. So if you've been using it, great. If you haven't, you're welcome, right? But you get to go in here and see all of those communications. We've built so many features in here and enhanced it in such a really cool way. Again, this is something that is free and visible for you. There is a little permissions button up here. You get to give your team access to these features and kind of, you know, detail who should have what, who should be able to see what. And so take a look at that, take a look at the Pulse Chat, start to see those messages. But again, we really wanted to talk about PulseBot. So Taylor, when you have a chance, let's get there.
Sure.
Okay.
Let's load her on in. It's going to take it just a second.
Yes. And so again, PulseBot is Tenstreet's AI bot that is designed to help you get questions answered for your candidates, right? So these are folks who have either applied already or they're interested in the spaces and the places where they're looking in Driver Pulse represent some of what you're going to see here. Now, the first thing we see is the PulseBot Training Center. This is how you can train PulseBot on how to respond. We took very great, a lot of effort to make sure that your PulseBot is yours and yours alone. As an LLM AI, it's not learning from anything else other than what you feed it, other than how you respond, other than you. So it's not, you know, like a large language model that's learning from other sources. It's learning from you. So you get to put your policies and procedures, you get to put in your documents, you get to feed it information, and that's what we see here. Now, if you scroll down a little bit, I want you to open up the job policy category settings. Now, this is where if a driver has a pre-application messaging or a question, right, before they've submitted an app, and it's related to pets or home time or pay, equipment, any of these 11 items shown here, you can either have it generate a response from AI based on the policies and procedures that you've given it, or you can just type in what you want it to say. Hey, look, we don't mess around. We're going to put it in, and this is what our policy is. This is how I want you to respond. And in Driver Pulse, the driver is able to ask a question based on, you know, how they put their profile together and the questions that they have, the things that are most important to them, and they're able to get a response. Now, if you don't offer a pet policy, and that's something that's really important to them, then they have that information right then and there, and they can choose to not apply. But also, if it doesn't align with them, that's actually a really good thing, because they're able to move on, and then you don't have to tie up someone's time to answer those questions. So you see how that, like, really it makes sense. Now, Kathy, yeah. Okay, so I just saw a question come through. Kathy, you found it. I'm glad you found it. Start looking at it, clicking through it, exploring it. This is really super duper cool. Now, Taylor, if we scroll down just a little bit, Now you're able to see my favorite space in here. It is that PulseBot sandbox. Now this is where you can ask it questions to see how it's going to respond to your candidates. Okay, so depending on what we've trained it with and how we want to phrase questions, it's going to take some information, again, of what you entered, okay, and how you respond to your Pulse messages and what your team is typing in here, your policies and procedures, and it's going to spit out answers for you. And if something is great, you give it a thumbs up. You get to train it. You get to say, yes, this is a great response. If you give it a thumbs down, that means, hey, we probably, you know, there's some work that needs to happen here. But again, you are training that PulseBot on how to be, how to work on your behalf. There's some other, you know, general reply settings for pre-hire and post-hire, some notifications. If it doesn't know the answer to something, it's not going to guess. It's just going to send you a notification, so that as soon as you log in the next day, your team comes in, they know, hey, go take a look at that question that came in, and then your recruiters can just pick up that conversation right where it is. To me, I encourage folks, don't sleep on PulseBot, because PulseBot is out there doing the Lord's work. I said it, okay? Yes, indeed. Okay, so one question before we move on over to Call Me Now, Taylor. Do we need a certain permission? And the answer is yes. If you're not designated as a primary user, you may not see some of the features that we're showing you, but that is very easily adjusted. You can send an email to account.managers@tenstreet.com, and your team will likely loop in your primary, and if to give you the access that you need. And if that primary person already knows how to, you know, send an inquiry over to our team, they can do that as well. But all roads lead to access. You just let us know what you need, and we are happy to get it for you. Okay, got a couple other questions rolling in here. Okay, oh, y'all like this. I love that y'all like it. Okay. All right. Well, for sake of time, we are going to start talking about Call Me Now, but we're going to make sure every single question gets answered. And there's more coming. In about 39 days, we're going to be in Vegas, baby. And we're taking this AI to the next level. So get familiar with this as it is, but just know that we're working on updates and enhancements to many of these tools that we are talking about today.
Sure. So I'm going to switch gears for a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about Call Me Now. I'm going to flip back to Express, and we're going to jump over here to the work list. I've got a brand new, fresh applicant, Mr. Tenstreet Taylor over here hanging out. And you're going to notice, if you've been with Tenstreet for a long time, you know we've slowly started adding some extra buttons up here. If you've got Call Me Now added into your account, you're going to see this little call button hanging out right here at the top of the profile. So what this is going to do is whenever you click this button, it's going to go ahead and call the driver. And I'll run through this here in just a second, but let's just kind of overview it first. We're going to call the driver. It'll have an automated call that is said to the driver, and it'll say, hey, this is Tenstreet, call me now. This call is being recorded. We're going to connect you. And then recruiter's phone, whoever we have listed in this recruiter drop down here, is who's going to get that phone call. It's going to be connected to whatever you have their work number set as within Tenstreet, within their profile. So it's going to connect the two. So Christy today is Miss Silver Safety, which in reality, she's like Platinum Safety. She is the queen of it all. But I'm going to get my phone ready. I'll put this on speaker for us. And let's just see how well this is going to come over our speakers. Now, one thing I will mention, I just got a Pulse message letting me know, hey, we're about to call you from our Tenstreet webinar dashboard. And then here's that call coming in for me right now. I'm going to hit accept, and I'm going to put this on speaker.
It's a call from Tenstreet calling now. This call will be recorded. Please wait while forwarding your call.
All right. This is Kyle's question. Okay, it's ringing to me. Hello?
Well, hello there.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to talk for just a second just to get something on our transcript.
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and let it transcribe.
Absolutely. Wonderful, wonderful. I want to work for you, Tenstreet.
Yay.
Yay.
Ready for flatbed. Woo!
Yes, yes. Orientation.
Perfect. So since that's went through, that's kind of what it'll sound like to the driver, since I was the driver in that scenario. But now that that's taken place, I'm going to go ahead and just give myself a little refresh, clicking on my name here. And let's go check out the communications view for me. So if I'm on here on the blue bar in the old view, I'm coming down to just communications view. And we're going to see down here that we've got a recording in place for this. Now, it does take it a minute or so before a transcript arrives. The AI still got to do its magic, takes a little bit of time to process. But once that's done and we come back in here, I'm going to give that just another quick look. Aha, we'll see over here on the right side. Hey, we're about to call you, please answer. Here's where the phone call took place. And here's a link to the recording in the transcript for each. So if I were to click on transcript here, this is going to go ahead and show you a summary of what happened during that call, and it's going to give you the full transcript down below. So me and Christy kind of going back and forth. You've got that whole entire transcript at the tip of your fingertips, just within the Tenstreet dashboard. And then you also have kind of the summary of what happened with that call as well. Now, something I will mention, because I kind of talked about it earlier, if you wanted to apply tags or you've got a certain script that you have your recruiters follow, anything like that, we can have this automatically apply tags based off of the conversation. We can automatically have this trigger to, hey, send a copy of the CDL, send a copy of the med card request, be able to kind of start automating those things that would take your recruiters just a few minutes of going back through their profile and having to click some extra buttons for. We can kind of take care of that as a part of that process.
Yes, wonderful. Taylor, now that was just too fun. That was too fun. It's so exciting. And at user conference this year, again, in about 39 days, you still have time to get registered. But one of the tools that I'll be presenting on this year is VoiceBot. So you're talking about the Call Me Now features, and there are ways that we have enhanced it to make your process even more smooth. We have dived right into AI. And so anyway, super excited. You heard it here, this little teaser for you, but Call Me Now and its wonderful updates and upgrades are really gonna be beneficial to your recruiting workflow. Love to see it. Okay, woo, okay. Now, I was not keeping track of time. It looks like we are doing really, really well. Now, before we roll on to the last two topics, Taylor, let's answer a few questions because we got some really good questions in here.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's start off from where I remember we kind of last peaked at.
Okay.
We're not PulseBot and Pulse Plus options. I'm assuming this is an additional platform we need to add to our account. That can be something, PulseBot within itself, if you want that to be able to be trained and kind of work with it a little bit, that can be something. We just need your primary user to get that permission added in for you. It wouldn't be available to respond to all questions or answers or set it for off hours. That would require a little bit of an additional add-on for you. But from an access level, we can definitely get that added in for you to be able to train it and start working in the sandbox and kind of prime that up for whenever you're ready to unleash that on the world.
Absolutely. And don't let that hold you back from learning more, right? Because I guarantee you, if you do a survey internally of who's evaluating what type of AI services, the conversations are being had. We want you to know that Tenstreet is leading the charge on the recruiting front, on the safety front, on engagement and helping you to use AI tools responsibly. So don't count us out. You don't have to go out and get other providers to do the things that you think we don't do. This is to expose you to what we are creating in Tenstreet for your benefit. So I think that's a great question.
Another one, Christy, that we had, what are the limitations to what can be uploaded and trained into PulseBot? Like, this example would be like driver test positive and the carrier needs to send SAP references.
Yes. Well, so I don't know that I would trust not trust, but want those communications to be sent out via PulseBot, right? I would want those to be sent out maybe via a structured message. Now, we have structured messaging in the system, and essentially it has some decision trees where you can say, if this, then respond this way. And so that's a very specific question, and we're happy to help get it answered. But again, PulseBot may not work for some of the scenarios that you encounter on a day-to-day basis, but we're happy to find a place in Tenstreet where it works and where it makes sense. Now, the wonderful thing is that we have the benefit of knowing what we are developing and what's coming up. You don't have to figure that out. Just bring us the, hey, here's the problem that I'm looking to solve. And then we are able to jump in and to really help connect the right solution to, you know, the issue that you're experiencing. But I do love, love, love that question. That was great. All right, we got some folks new to this, excited to explore. Okay, wonderful. Oh, this is a good one. Okay, we hire for multiple different clients with different qualifications and hiring requirements. Does PulseBot respond based on the job requirements or for a specific job, or are there only one set of requirements for all openings? Taylor, going back to Pulse Plus, because we need to show them this. So that's a really great question. And we know that our client base is diverse and complex in some ways. And so when you engage with PulseBot, it really depends on the level of information that you feed it. Now, if you are able to create a document or some policy and procedures that clearly outline, hey, for this position in this location, it's this, in this position, in this. So the technical answer is yes, we can handle the complexity, but I would want you to add the document to keep the document updated, but then I also want you to go in and test that PulseBot response as well to make sure that it knows how to answer those questions, because it may give you a multi-layered response to that candidate. You know, what is your home time? Hey, well, depending on which lane you pick, your home time could vary from, you know, 2 to 3 days for this position to this many days for this other position, right? It's a whole lot to say, but you already kind of know where I'm going with this, right? It really depends, but yes, it can handle some complexity. That's a really, really great question. Okay, if you don't see the call me now or DQF, is that a permission thing? Yes, yes it is. And we are happy to help you sort that out. So again, you can email account.managers@tenstreet.com with questions and just say, hey, I'm on Taylor and Christy's webinar and I'd like to access to these tools. Again, we can loop in the right people to make sure that you have access to the tools that we are showing you. But we also would really love for you to get with your Tenstreet advisor to have a demo so we can talk to you about how the tools can be used in your specific business. Ooh, okay, the color coding, is that a feature we have to add? Okay, I cannot wait. We're going to talk about that next. Okay, so I'll pause that one because we're going to talk about the interest score and the fit scoring. Okay, if we're allowed to share, but what LLM does Tenstreet use? Is there anywhere I can find documentation or more of the back end? Yeah, that is a technical question. And we have pioneered our own, technology to help with this. And so there are some people and some resources that we can connect you to. So please just let us know, Zach, we can get in contact with you. Okay, wonderful. Yes, okay, and then Taylor, this is a question for you. With Call Me Now, will the driver candidate be told this is a call from their specific company, right? It specifies what company it's from, right?
It didn't on that initial phone call, but the driver does get a message on Driver Pulse right before that phone call comes in. That is from your company within Pulse. That might not be a bad enhancement request though for our product team to say, hey, this call is from this company. But as of right now, the only indication they get that it is from your company is the Pulse message that they get right before that phone call comes in.
All right, wonderful. Okay, well, let's keep moving forward because I want to give us enough time to answer the couple of questions that we have about interest and fit scores and then wrap it up with DQF readiness as well. And so where Taylor is going to go, we're going to go to the work list and check out one of our test applicants, Sheldon Test, is somewhere in the list. That's a really great example of interest and fit score. Now, Taylor's going to hover over those two little boxes up there. And here's the fit score. The fit score is green, it's 100%. We're looking at accidents, violations, and experience. So this lets you know if this person fits the criteria that you have defined in the score management tool. Really easy to see, really easy to reference so that you can, reach out to this candidate, knowing that they are more closely aligned with what you're looking for as a fit. Now, again, interest is using AI to gauge if they're interested. Are they communicating back and forth? Are there long delayed responses, or are they responsive? Are they communicative? What is even the sentiment or the tone of the messages? Are these one-word responses, or are they more elaborate, and are they giving you more detail? Those are the things that the AI is looking for to give you a score and assign that score a color. Okay, so I wanted to show you that as a reference, and now Taylor's going to take us into the score management tool where you can set this up today. Okay, now here are the color standards at the top. We put that guideline, that rubric right at the top for you. Okay, the red, the yellow, the green. Okay, now beyond that, you're able to see the fit score configuration. There are also, so there's the accidents, there's the violations, and experience, those three main areas. Okay, and then below there, or for each of those rather, there is a little toggle that you move back and forth. And so depending on what your criteria is on the front end, this is going to help you so that the system knows what's yellow, what's red, what's green. And then we also have the red status flags, okay? So if there's something that, hey, the look back period, let's say we put it at 5 years and we're looking for red flags, accident with injury, fatal accident, they're already doing your Intella app. They're already answering these questions. We're using the programming and the AI to present a score to you, but it is really based on how you configure it here, what your red flags are, what is considered a qualified candidate to work for you, to meet your insurance requirements, all of that. Right? It's not as in depth as the previous legacy scoring was, but it's designed that way on purpose so that, again, you can use the tools to help you more quickly evaluate a candidate so you can have better conversations. Now, below here is where you're going to see the interest score config. Okay, now this one is just, it's a one and done. Okay, do you give us permission to evaluate the communications back and forth so that we can present an interest score to you? If you enable the nightly scan, this feature is enabled and it's going to start doing it. We also have the statuses to scan, new, reapply, attempting contact, maybe that kind of makes sense. If you did not want to use this, all you would have to do is toggle enable nightly scan off and it wouldn't do anything, okay? But I want you to turn it on, give interest score and fit score a chance, and try it out with your team. If you have specific questions about these tools, please let us know. We're happy to get them answered. All right, Taylor, what else would you say about interest and fit?
I wish we had, which here in, was it 39 days that you've been saying, Christy? 39 days till you see. Yes. I'm ready to see Tim give us his statistics on how well interest score, and the higher that score is, the more likely that driver is to hire. I have that chart that we can show on this webinar. But I know that's going to be something that we talk about at UC as well, just my shameless plug as well. But this is a powerful feature. We've seen a lot of success with this.
Yes. Now there's a question here. How did you get there? How did you navigate there? And so in the tools menu up at the top left corner, we clicked on tools and then it's called score management. And so if you click, if you have access to it, you can see it, and then you can go ahead and start to turn it on. Again, if you don't have it, if you need some access, we are happy to get it to you. Now, just a disclaimer here, we don't give everybody access to everything because You know, the wrong tools in the wrong hands can be catastrophic. Let me just say it, okay? So that's why we have designated primary users as administrative users on your account. So that's why sometimes things are hidden behind a primary user designation in the system. Please know that we want you to have access to these tools, but we want it to fit within your organization structure. So that's why sometimes we need permission to add these tools to you. It's not because we're withholding anything. We're showing you what's available so that you can know, you can get permission to it, you can start using it, you can crawl, you can walk, you can run, and then you can fly, okay? Okay, all right, Taylor, I'm done talking for a while. Let's talk about DQF.
All right. Well, I'm going to jump back over here to the work list, and we're going to hang out with Tenstreet Taylor again with us. Those buttons that I was referring to earlier where we did the call me now, you might have noticed looking over here too, there's this button that says DQF. So if you were to actually click on this, what this is going to do is based off of what you have as set as your requirements for your DQF. If you're using our let me back up. If you're using our DQF tool, this is going to mold to what you have in your DQF tool and what you're tracking. If you don't use our DQF tool, no problem. We're going to take a standard FMCSA requirements guidelines and have that set essentially as to what they usually recommend to have within your DQF file. And the system is going to tell you if you're missing anything or if you've collected all this information before it'll allow you to do that DQF send. So it looks like I'm missing employment verifications here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload a document for us here. Just like if I were done with all my employment verifications, I have it marked in my DQF and I want to go ahead and just satisfy that. I'm going to come in here and do employment verifications. And then I've got a little picture in here somewhere. I've got this PDF letting us know employment verifications are complete. Now I'm going to go ahead and save. So perfect. So now that I did that, I'm going to refresh and you're going to notice that there was an X icon here now. Now it's got this little document with an arrow. So this is going to say that, hey, these DQF documents are ready for review. We can click the submit button, determine if they're ready. It does take a few minutes for the AI to kind of read through all of these, but once you hit submit, it's going to go ahead and let the AI start to kind of look at these documents. Now, what it's doing, it's not saying, hey, this is, this is definitely that guy or anything like that. You should run a SID list for that. But this is going to go ahead and say, hey, this is a CDL. This is the right expiration date that you've got into the system. This document is legible. It's just making sure that there's no hiccups whatsoever with the documents that you already have in place for that. So kind of helps to make that transition to safety a little bit smoother. There's going to be nothing kicked back. I'm going to give this a little refresh here now. Got a new icon.
Woo!
Magnifying glass. So they're still under review at the moment. It might take it a second before that comes back. So Christy, have there been any questions, anything that maybe we can answer before we kind of?
Absolutely, absolutely. So what I want to say is kind of while we wait for this, we've been walking through your AI workflow in Tenstreet. So we started off talking about PulseBot and the ways that you can use PulseBot to your advantage in the pre-hire or post-hire context, but really diving into the Pulse Plus platform and understanding some of the benefits that you already have access to and the things that are going to take your recruiting workflow to the next level. If you have questions about any of these topics, we will have a couple of minutes at the end, so please make sure you put those questions in the GoToWebinar control panel. And Taylor, most of our attendees today have stayed throughout the duration of this recording. So yay us, I guess people like us, they really like me. But we started off talking about PulseBot. We transitioned to Call Me Now. We did, a wonderful example of what that call sounds like, what the transcript looks like, because we want you to see that this is stuff that you can have access to and immediately start to transform your workflow using Tenstreet's AI tools. Then we talked about interest score, that color-coded system that's letting you gauge engagement and responsiveness and fit using fit score and interest score. Really, really cool. If you go into the tools menu, many of you have access to the score management tool. And then now we're wrapping it up with a compliance focus with reviewing the DQF readiness tool. It is a tool for everyone, whether you use you use our full safety platform or not, we are here and happy to help. And look, here we go. It's ready for us.
Yep, it's ready for us. And I uploaded pictures of just our team and a few other things on events that we've been to. So it's telling me my CDL ain't a CDL. My med card, we need to kick this back. You need to look back through your documents. You need to get up and moving. So everything here is saying, hey, these are not ready. So this is a good spot. And you might have noticed too, we now have the icon that's a big exclamation mark, letting you know, hey, there's something you need to look at in here. So it's did its job properly here and letting us know, hey, these are not the documents. You need to take a closer look at these. So this is a good way to help make sure you stay in compliance before you fully get that driver over to safety, you fully hire that driver, make sure everything's good to go on that end.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, these questions have been coming fast and furious. And as we get ready to close, we're going to go back into our PowerPoint here. But there has been so much to dive into. And we didn't even cover all of the AI tools. We have more that we're creating. We've been working on creating and perfecting these AI tools for your benefit, being really responsive to what our clients need. Now, this is an opportunity for me to talk about how you can get involved. We want you to get caught up so that you can benefit from events like what we're having in about 39 days. In 39 days, close to 1,000 of us are going to be in Las Vegas at UConnect 2026. Number one, this is a can't miss event. If you use Tenstreet, if you're thinking about it, if you kind of use it and you're like, oh, we're not that good at it, you need to be at UConnect. Okay, this is our annual user conference. This is our 8th year doing it, but we're celebrating 20 years in business. And so we have some really exciting things that we're going to roll out, to unveil, and you still have time to register. It's in Las Vegas, May 4th through the 6th, and hotel at the Bellagio. So accommodations at the Bellagio are included in registration. I go to a lot of conferences and they're not all doing that, okay? So we just want you to know that we have done everything we can to make sure it's a really, really great time. But we're going to take sessions like this to the next level. You get to see enhancements, upgrades, updates directly from the Tenstreet team. Taylor and I will be there with everyone else from the Tenstreet team, and we have such a great time. Taylor, what else did you say about UC?
I would say I'm telling on myself a little bit. I have a story where we were at a social hour and I had somebody walk up to me and say, hey, I have this going on, and I had my backpack on, I had my laptop. We're in the middle of a social hour and I pulled out my laptop and we were working on fixing their dashboard. You know, account management's always accessible. We have devs there. Christy, the queen herself, is going to be there. Come. We'd love to have you there to come just tap us on the shoulder, whether if it's, hey, let's get to know you better, or it's, hey, I got a problem. Well, let's fix that problem right there. One thing I will mention too, any of the new stuff that we're going to be unveiling too, if you're at user conference, you're looking at 90 days of free access to those tools. So the new AI access stuff that we're going to be having and coming soon, you know, we're excited to unveil that to the world, but you will get it 90 days before everybody else being at that user conference at the Bellagio.
Yes, indeed. Oh, I cannot wait. Again, you still have a few days to get registered. We don't want anyone to miss out and potentially not have a hotel accommodation. So that's why we're trying to push folks that are on the fence about getting there. You know, get over that fence, join us. We want to see you there. And it is, it's hard to describe user conference in words, but it is truly an amazing time. And we want to hear about your experiences using Tenstreet and help you take it to the next level. Now, as we get prepared to wrap it on up today, Taylor and I are going to talk about our takeaways from today's session, but we do have a couple of questions that we want to get answered before we jump into our takeaways. And so this one was, any idea why only some of my drivers have the DQF icon and some do not? I may need to reach out to my account team, but wondering if you have an idea. Taylor, do you have an idea about that?
My initial thought, it might depend on what status those drivers are in. If they're in like a post-hire status, or you've got them marked hired, but they're not hidden from the work list or anything, they wouldn't have that icon. The DQF readiness is more for like, hey, this is going to be beginning of the process, not so much into the process, right? Because you've got the full tool taking care of it at that point.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So Sonia, let us know if that is helpful. If they are in a hired status, or depending on what status they're in, you may not see it. And again, the icon is there, but sometimes the little image in the icon changes, right? So, yep. And you said that's it. Okay, also. Wonderful. And then the last question here, may I have a copy of the webinar, please, baby, please? Yes, you can. In about 24 hours, you're going to get an email, and it is going to have the recording from today's session. And we just want you to have a really good time. We want you to have a pleasant experience with Tenstreet. We want you to be successful. Everyone uses these tools and they put their own flavor on it. You know, so don't think you're copying anybody else's workflow. Oh, absolutely not. Everyone puts their own flavor, their own sauce on it. They make it their own. They give us enhancement suggestions and requests, and that's what makes better products for our entire client base. I guess that was my takeaway from today, right? Just dive into it, because, you know, it's going to help showcase your uniqueness as a carrier. Taylor, what would you say to wrap us up?
I think of all this AI stuff as if it is like an ocean, and the best way to boil the ocean is one bucket at a time. So you got to step in, dive in, take your bucket out, and grab your first, bucket full of water and work from there, right? So it is a lot all at one time, but grab one thing out of this that you really think is going to be very helpful to you, and then start becoming an expert in it. When you cross that bridge, we go to the next one, we grab the next bucket, we fill up another thing of water.
All right, and we're not doing it alone. We are here to help you every step of the way. If you would like to schedule a demo for any of the tools that you've seen today, just contact sales@tenstreet.com, or you might already know who your account advisor is. It may be an Emily Buck, or a Brian Greer, or an Amanda Pearson, or a Tara Bush. Like, there's so many wonderful folks who would love to schedule some time with you to review these AI tools. You also can tap me on the shoulder, Christy.Choice@tenstreet.com. I'm more than happy to help with any questions you have, or you can reach out to your wonderful account management team. We have so many amazing account managers, just like Taylor, who specialize in configuring these tools and helping you to reach your goals. So reach out to account.managers@tenstreet.com. All right, we're 1 minute over. It's been really great spending an afternoon with you all. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Have a really great afternoon. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
Thanks.